The transport shuttle smelled like burning metal and regret. Anna Webb pressed her face against the small window and watched the planet below grow larger. It was supposed to be green. The brochures had promised rolling hills and purple flowers and research stations with comfortable beds. This planet was red and black and smoking. Serene Gardens Research Station, the shuttle computer announced. Please prepare for landing. Anna looked at the hellscape outside. Volcanic mountains spat fire into an orange sky. The ground was cracked and glowing in some places. She pulled out her transfer documents and read them again. Destination, Serene Gardens Research Station. Purpose, Xenobiology Cultural Exchange. Duration, 1 standard year. The shuttle landed with a hard thump. The doors opened. Heat rushed in like a physical wall. Anna stepped onto the landing pad. The metal was warm even through her boots. She looked around for the welcome committee. Instead, she saw a creature the size of a small truck walking toward her. It had 6 arms, scales like armor plates, and a face full of scars. It nearly stepped on her before stopping. The creature looked down. Its eyes were small and confused. "What are you?" it asked. "Human," Anna said. "Anna Webb, I'm here for the research exchange." The creature made a sound like rocks grinding together. It took Anna a moment to realize it was laughing. "There is no research here, small thing. This is Harrowfield." Anna felt her stomach drop. Harrowfield Military Academy. Yes. She looked at her documents again, then she saw it. The assignment code, 2 numbers were switched. A simple mistake. A clerk somewhere had typed 7742 instead of 7724. And now she was standing on the deadliest training ground in the galaxy. The armored creature escorted her through the academy grounds. Every being she passed was massive. Creatures with claws, fangs, spikes, venom sacs. They all stopped to stare at her. Some laughed, others looked confused. A few seemed hungry. She was taken to a building made of black stone. Inside, behind a desk carved from volcanic rock, sat the largest creature she had seen yet. This was Commandant Gorak, a thornback. His body was covered in natural armor. One of his 6 arms was missing below the elbow. 3 deep scars ran across his face. "A human," he said slowly. "I have read about your species, never seen one." "There's been a mistake," Anna said. "My assignment code was wrong." Gorak looked at her documents. He made the same grinding laugh the other creature had made. "A paperwork error. You were meant for a garden planet. Instead, you are here." He leaned forward. "Do you know what Harrowfield is?" "A military academy." "The military academy. We train soldiers for the Galactic Coalition. Only apex predator species. Only those evolved on Deathworlds." He gestured at her small body. "You are neither." "I understand. Our training has a 40% mortality rate. Students die here, regularly." Anna said nothing. "The next transport leaves in 6 hours, Gorak continued. "You will be on it. This is not a request." Anna thought about the transport. She thought about going home and explaining what happened. She thought about filling out forms and waiting months for a new assignment. Then she asked a question. "What happens to species that fail here?" Gorak paused. "They are classified as protected. No military service, no colony defense rights. They become wards of stronger species." "Has any human ever attended Harrowfield?" "No. So if I leave now, humans will never have been tested here." Gorak studied her with his small, dark eyes. "You would die in the first week." "Maybe," Anna said, "but I want to try." The commandant was silent for a long moment. Around them, the building groaned as distant volcanoes shook the earth. "You are either very brave or very stupid," he finally said. "Probably both." Another grinding laugh. Gorak pressed a button on his desk. "Drill Instructor Voss, report to my office. We have a new student." The door opened. A serpentine creature slithered in. Its scales shimmered with heat. Its eyes glowed like embers. Venom dripped from fangs as long as Anna's forearm. "This is the human?" Voss asked. Its voice was like steam escaping a pipe. Yes, assign her to Barracks 12. Something flickered in Voss's glowing eyes. Surprise, maybe, or pity. Barracks 12, the instructor repeated. The graveyard. She wanted a chance, Goruk said. Give her one. Anna followed Voss through the academy. They passed training fields where massive creatures fought with weapons and claws. They passed obstacle courses designed to break bodies. They passed a medical building where screams echoed through the walls. Barracks 12 houses the overflow, Voss explained. Students too weak for normal placement, students no one expects. To survive, you will fit in well. They stopped at a building on the edge of the campus. It was smaller than the others. The walls were cracked. The door hung slightly crooked. Training begins at dawn, Voss said. Do not be late, we do not wait for the weak. Then the instructor was gone, slithering back toward the main campus. Anna stood alone in front of the broken building. The sky above was red with volcanic light. The air burned her lungs. Every creature on this planet could kill her without effort. She pushed open the crooked door and stepped inside. She did not panic. 5 creatures stood frozen in the middle of an argument when Anna walked through the door. The barracks was small and cramped. Bunks lined the walls. The air smelled like smoke and something sour. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then the smallest creature spoke. It was covered in orange scales and stood barely taller than Anna. Is that a snack or a student? Student, Anna said. Anna Webb, human. Human, a tall, thin being with skin like shadows, stepped closer. Its body seemed to shift and blur at the edges. I have never heard of humans. We're from Earth. It's a death world technically. Extreme temperatures, predators, natural disasters. Anna set her bag on an empty bunk. Though nothing like this place. The 5 creatures exchanged looks. A massive figure in the corner stood up. It was easily 8 feet tall, with pale blue skin and frost forming on its shoulders. Another one just like it stood beside it. Twins. I am Ul, the first one said. This is my brother On. We are frost giants from an ice moon. This heat is killing us, On added. His voice was tired. Slowly. The shadow creature spoke next. I am Kess, a shadeling. I can become invisible. It paused, but I am not brave enough to fight. The orange-scaled one raised a small hand. Doug, Moltari, I'm fireproof, but I'm also the smallest soldier in Academy history. Everyone laughs at me. The last creature had been floating near the ceiling. It drifted down slowly. Its body was thin and elongated, with huge eyes and delicate limbs. Rena, Plovian, my species evolved in zero gravity. This planet's gravity makes me feel like I'm being crushed every second. Anna looked at her new squad. A floating creature who couldn't handle gravity, giants who were dying in the heat, an invisible coward, a tiny fireproof being, and herself a human with no claws, no venom. No natural armor. Barracks 12, she said, the graveyard. They call it that because everyone here dies, Doug said cheerfully. Or quits, usually both. Not this time, Anna said. They stared at her. You're strange, Kess whispered. You have no weapons, no defenses. How do you survive on your death world? Anna thought about it. We don't stop. No matter what happens, we just keep going. We chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. We cross deserts. We climb mountains. We survive things that should kill us through pure stubbornness. That sounds fake, Doug said. It's not. The next morning, training began. Drill instructor Voss gathered all the first-year squads at the edge of a volcanic plain. The ground cracked and steamed. In the distance, mountains burned. 30 kilometers, Voss announced. Full gear, reach the checkpoint before sunset or you fail. The elite squads took off running. They were huge, powerful, built for this world. Within minutes, they had disappeared into the heat haze. Barracks 12 started moving, slowly. Rena struggled with every step. The gravity pulled at her like chains. Ul and On were sweating ice, their bodies fighting desperately to stay cold. Kess kept flickering in and out of visibility from stress. Doug's little legs couldn't match the pace of the others. After 5 kilometers, Rena collapsed. "Leave me," she gasped. "Save yourselves." Anna knelt beside her. "No. I'm slowing everyone down." "Then we slow down together?" Anna looked at the others. "Help me get her up." Ull lifted Rena like she weighed nothing. They kept walking. At the 10-kilometer mark, Owen started stumbling. His blue skin was turning gray. The heat was cooking him from the inside. "We need to cool him down," Anna said. She looked around. A small stream of water ran from a crack in the rocks, heated by underground lava, but not boiling, just hot. "Doug, can you stand in that water?" The little Moltari looked confused. "Yes, why?" "Stand in it, cool it down with your body." Doug waded into the stream. Steam rose as his fireproof scales absorbed the heat. Within a minute, the water was merely warm. Ull and Owen submerged their arms in the cooled water. Color returned to their skin. They kept moving. 15 kilometers, 20, 25. Anna's legs burned. Her lungs felt like they were filled with ash. Every step was agony, but she kept talking, kept encouraging, kept refusing to let anyone fall behind. "Almost there, keep moving. One more step, just one more." The sun was touching the mountains when they reached the checkpoint. Every other squad had arrived hours ago. The elite soldiers watched them stumble in, covered in ash and barely conscious. Drill instructor Voss was waiting. "Last place," the instructor said. "Pathetic." Anna straightened up despite her exhaustion. "But we finished, all of us together." Voss stared at her with those glowing eyes. Then the instructor pulled up a data pad and scrolled through something. "This is the first time Barracks 12 has completed a march with 0 dropouts." Voss paused. "In Academy history." Anna looked at her squad. Rena was standing on her own now. The frost giants had stopped shaking. Kess was fully visible for the first time since Anna met her. Doug was grinning. They had finished last. But they had finished. The combat arena was a circle of black stone surrounded by fire pits. Hundreds of students gathered around the edges, filling the air with growls and hisses and clicking sounds that passed for laughter among alien species. Anna stood in the center. Across from her waited a Krevex. It was twice her height, with 4 arms ending in claws that could cut through starship metal. Its skin was thick and gray, like stone come to life. "First blood wins," drill instructor Voss announced. "Begin." The Krevex charged. Anna dove sideways. She hit the ground, rolled, and came up running. The creature's claws sliced through the air where she had been standing. "Stand still, little thing," the Krevex growled. Anna did not stand still. She circled, she watched. She studied the way the creature moved, looking for patterns. Every fighter had habits. Every body had weaknesses. The Krevex swung again. Anna ducked under its arm and noticed something. When it extended its right arms, there was a gap in its shoulder movement, a half-second delay. She filed that information away. For 5 minutes, she did nothing but dodge. The crowd grew restless. They had come to watch a killing, not a dance. The Krevex was getting frustrated. Its attacks became wilder, sloppier. Anna saw her moment. When the creature lunged with its right arms, she stepped inside its reach instead of away. Her fist connected with the soft tissue under its arm, right where the joint met the body. The Krevex roared in pain and surprise. Anna spun and kicked the back of its knee. The massive creature stumbled. She jumped onto its back and wrapped her arm around its throat. She squeezed. The Krevex thrashed. One of its claws raked across her arm. Blood sprayed onto the black stone. "First blood," Voss announced. "The Krevex wins." Anna released her grip and dropped to the ground. Her arm was bleeding badly, but she was alive. The Krevex stood there, confused. It touched the bruise forming under its arm. It felt the swelling on its knee. It rubbed its throat where her grip had nearly crushed its windpipe. "You hurt me," it said. The confusion in its voice was almost funny. "You have no claws, no weapons. How did you hurt me?" Everyone has weak points, Anna said. You just have to find them. After that, everything changed. Students started approaching Barracks 12, not to mock them but to ask questions. How had the human identified those weak points? Could she teach them to do the same? Anna started informal sessions. She explained human hunting strategies, how to read body language, how to spot fear and fatigue in any species, how to find the soft places in even the hardest armor. Word spread. The creature who should have died in the first fight was becoming a teacher. Not everyone was happy about this. Rask was a thornback, like Commandant Goruk, but younger and crueler. His family was powerful in the Galactic Coalition. He had come to Harrowfield expecting to be a legend. Instead, everyone was talking about a human. He started with small cruelties, stolen rations, broken equipment, training gear that mysteriously malfunctioned. One day, Kess returned to the barracks with burns across her shadowy skin. She had been accidentally pushed into a fire pit during exercises. It was Rask's squad, she whispered. They're targeting us. Honor examined the burns. They would heal, but slowly. She felt something cold and quiet settle in her chest. Did anyone else see it happen? Several people. No one will speak against Rask. His family is too powerful. That night, Anna started keeping records. Every incident, every witness, every piece of sabotaged equipment. She wrote it all down in a small notebook she kept hidden under her mattress. Rena noticed. What are you doing? Building a case. For what? For when the time is right. The harassment continued. Ul had his cold suit damaged, nearly giving him heat stroke. Doug was locked in a storage container for 6 hours. Anonymous notes appeared in their barracks promising worse to come. Through it all, Anna watched, waited, documented, and practiced. Every night after training, when the others slept, she worked on her fighting techniques. She studied anatomy files for every species at the academy. She learned where their veins were, where their nerves gathered, where their bodies were most vulnerable. She was not becoming stronger. Humans could not match these creatures in raw power. But she was becoming more dangerous. One evening, Voss found her in an empty training room, working through combat forms alone. The human trains in secret, the instructor observed. The human trains whenever she can. Voss slithered closer. In the firelight, the Sindari's scales looked like flowing lava. You know Rask is coming for you. Yes. He will try to kill you, not in the arena, somewhere quiet where there are no witnesses. Anna stopped her practice. I know. And yet you don't run. Humans don't run. She met the instructor's glowing eyes. We endure, we adapt, and when the time comes, we finish things. Voss studied her for a long moment. Something shifted in those ember eyes, not quite respect, not yet. But close. You are an interesting creature on a web. The instructor turned to leave. Try not to die, it would be a waste. Anna returned to her practice. The time was coming, she could feel it. And she would be ready. The holographic map flickered in the pre-dawn darkness. Red zones meant lava. Black zones meant predator territory. Yellow zones meant unstable ground that could collapse without warning. Barracks 12's extraction point was a tiny green dot on the far edge of the map. The furthest point from the starting line, the most dangerous route possible. The Crucible, drill instructor Voss announced to the assembled students. 1 week in the volcanic wastelands. Reach your extraction point or die trying. No rescue, no support. This is real. Rask's squad had been assigned an extraction point just 15 kilometers away, through mostly safe terrain. Anna said nothing. She had expected this. When the starting signal sounded, Barracks 12 moved out. Anna had a plan. While other squads sprinted toward their destinations, her team walked, slow and steady, conserving energy. We're falling behind, Doug said nervously. We're not racing, Anna replied. We're surviving. She assigned roles based on each member's strengths. Rena floated ahead, scouting the terrain from elevated positions where the gravity bothered her less. Kess turned invisible and scouted danger zones. The frost giants took turns carrying supplies, their massive bodies able to bear weight that would crush the others. Doug walked point through volcanic areas, his fireproof body handling temperatures that would kill the rest. Anna coordinated. She watched everyone's fatigue levels. She called rest breaks before anyone collapsed. She rationed water and food with careful precision. Day 1 passed, day 2. On day 3, they entered a narrow canyon. The walls were made of hardened lava. The ground was still warm. Rena dropped from the sky, eyes wide. Something big ahead, very big. They crept forward. The canyon opened into a small valley, and there it was. A magma drake. The creature was the size of a building. Its scales glowed with internal heat. Fire dripped from its mouth like drool. Every species at the Academy knew about magma drakes. They were the apex predators of this world. Even elite soldiers avoided them. Anna held up her hand. Everyone froze. The drake was lying on its side. It wasn't attacking, it was whimpering. "It's hurt," Anna whispered. "So we go around," Ul said, "far around." Anna studied the creature. A massive spike of volcanic rock was embedded in its side, just behind its front leg. The wound was infected. The drake was dying. "No," she said, "we help it." Her squad stared at her like she had lost her mind. "That thing can melt us with a breath," Kess hissed. "Maybe, but it's in pain, scared, and we're going to walk through its territory either way." Anna started moving forward. "Stay here." She approached the drake slowly, its massive head turned toward her. Eyes the size of windows focused on her tiny form. She kept her hands visible, kept her movements calm. "Hey there," she said softly. "That looks painful. I can help, but you need to trust me." The drake growled. The air around her became almost too hot to breathe. She kept walking. Anna was a xenobiology student. She had studied alien creatures her whole life. She knew how to read body language, even in species she had never met. The drake was scared, defensive, but not aggressive. She reached its side. The rock spike was deep, but not too deep. The infection was bad, but not fatal yet. "This is going to hurt," she said. "I'm sorry." She grabbed the spike and pulled. The drake roared. Fire erupted from its mouth, scorching the canyon wall 20 meters away. Anna felt her skin blistering from the heat. But she held on and pulled harder. The spike came free. Blood and pus poured from the wound. Anna pulled out her medkit and applied the strongest antibiotic she had. It was meant for humans, but it might work. The drake's head swung toward her. Its breath was hot enough to cook meat. Then it lowered its head and made a sound, a deep rumble, almost like a purr. Anna patted its snout. "Good dragon." When she walked back to her squad, they were speechless. "It's letting us pass," she said. "Let's go." They walked through the valley unmolested. The magma drake watched them go with something almost like gratitude in its ancient eyes. Day 5, they were making good progress when Rena spotted something unexpected. Rask's elite squad, scattered, injured, their extraction point overrun by predators. Rask himself was unconscious, his armored body cracked and bleeding. 2 of his squad mates were barely alive. "We can go around them," Owen said. "Leave them, after everything they did to us." Anna looked at the broken soldiers. She thought about Kess's burns, Doug locked in the storage container, all the small cruelties. Then she made her choice. "Help me carry them." They stabilized the wounded. They dressed injuries. They shared their limited supplies with the very people who had tormented them. It took them 2 more days to reach the extraction point, carrying the injured elite soldiers the entire way. They arrived 30 minutes before the deadline. Barracks 12, complete, with 6 additional survivors who should have died. When Rask woke up in the medical bay and learned what had happened, he said nothing. His surviving squad mates whispered thanks when no one was watching. Anna didn't need words. she had proven something more important. Strength wasn't just about killing. Sometimes it was about saving. Even the ones who didn't deserve it. 2 months into training, and Barracks 12 had become famous for all the wrong reasons. Wrong, at least, according to those who believed power was the only thing that mattered. They had the highest survival rate of any bottom-tier squad in Academy history. Not the best scores, not the fastest times, but everyone was still alive, still fighting, still refusing to quit. Anna had become something else entirely. Ghost Story, the creature who should have died a dozen times but kept appearing anyway. When Commandant Goruk summoned her to his office, she expected punishment. Instead, she found him staring at a holographic display filled with data she didn't recognize. "Sit down on a web," she said. "Do you know what this is?" He gestured at the display. "No, sir." "This is your file, your performance metrics, your psychological evaluations, every moment of your time here recorded and analyzed." He leaned back in his massive chair. "And it has been sent to the Galactic Coalition High Command." Anna's blood went cold. "Why?" "Because you are being evaluated, not as a student, as a species." The words hit her like a physical blow. "Humanity has never been tested at an apex military level," Goruk continued. "Some in the Coalition believe your kind should be classified as protected species, kept safe, kept out of danger, kept weak." His small eyes fixed on her. "Your performance here will determine whether humans are allowed to serve in the military, defend their own colonies, or sit at the strategic table." Anna sat very still. "So if I fail?" "Humanity fails, you become a protected species, wards of stronger civilizations, forever." The weight of it pressed down on her shoulders. Every stumble, every mistake, every moment of weakness, they weren't just hers anymore. They belonged to every human who would ever live. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you deserve to know what you're carrying." Goruk's voice softened just slightly. "And because I have begun to believe you might actually survive." That night, Anna pushed herself too hard. She ran until her legs gave out. She practiced combat forms until her hands bled. She studied until her vision blurred. She collapsed in the training yard, unconscious. When she woke up in the medical bay, her squad was waiting. "You scared us," Rena said softly. "I'm fine." "You're not fine." Doug climbed onto her bed, his small form radiating concern. "You were out for 6 hours. The doctors said you almost had organ failure." Anna closed her eyes. The pressure was crushing her. She had survived everything Harrowfield could throw at her, and now she was destroying herself. "I found something," Kess whispered. The shadowing flickered into visibility beside her bed. "While you were unconscious, I scouted Rask's squad. I heard them talking." Anna opened her eyes. "What did you hear?" "They're planning something for the final examination. A weapons malfunction. Sabotage. Something that will hurt or kill our squad during the live fire exercise." Ice spread through Anna's veins. "Are you sure?" "I heard Rask give the orders himself." Anna sat up despite her exhaustion. She reached under her mattress and pulled out her notebook. Months of documentation, every incident, every witness, every piece of evidence. "It's time," she said. She took her evidence to drill instructor Voss. The Sindari reviewed everything with growing silence. "This is serious," Voss finally said. "But Rask's family has connections throughout the coalition. An investigation could take months. The final examination is in 3 days." "Then I'll handle it myself." Voss's ember eyes flared. "How?" "An honor challenge, the old tradition. I challenge him to single combat. If I win, he's expelled. If I lose—" Anna paused. "I accept failure for myself and my squad." "You would risk everything." "I'm already risking everything. At least this way I choose how it ends." The news spread through the academy like fire. The human had challenged Rask. The tiny, soft, clawless human had demanded trial by combat against one of the strongest students in the school. The night before the challenge, Her squad gathered in the barracks. "Let me fight instead," Uhl said. "I'm bigger, stronger." "Let me," Own added. "We can take turns." "I'll go invisible and trip him," Kess offered. "No one will know." Anna looked at each of them, her family, the only people in the galaxy who truly understood what they had been through together. "Thank you," she said, "but this has to be me. Humanity is being judged. A human has to answer." She stood at the window, looking out at the volcanic sky. "When I first came here," she said quietly, "I was just a biology student who got lost, a paperwork error, a mistake. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being lost. I found something here, purpose, people worth fighting for, a reason to keep going." She turned to face them. "Whatever happens tomorrow, I need you to know, I'm not scared. I'm not giving up. I'm going to walk into that arena and show them what humans are made of." Doug sniffled. Rena's large eyes glistened. Even the frost giants looked emotional, frost forming on their cheeks like frozen tears. "You won't be alone," Rena said. "We'll be watching, all of us, and we'll be cheering louder than anyone." Anna smiled. It was warm and real and unafraid. "I know you will." Tomorrow she would face a monster. Tonight she slept peacefully. Every seat in the arena was filled. Students, instructors, even staff members who had never watched a combat before, they all came to see the human die. Anna stood in the center of the black stone circle. The fire pits around the edge crackled and roared. Heat pressed against her skin like a living thing. Rask entered from the opposite side. He was 3 feet taller than her and outweighed her by several hundred pounds. His natural armor covered his body like a shell of living rock. His 6 arms flexed, each one ending in claws that could tear through metal. The odds makers had given Anna a 0.3% chance of survival. Most of that was considered generous. "Yield now," Rask said, his voice echoing across the arena, "and I'll make it quick." "No," Anna said. The signal sounded. Rask charged. Anna had trained for this moment every night for 2 months. She had studied Thornback anatomy until she knew their bodies better than her own. She knew where the armor was thickest and where it was thin. She knew where the nerves clustered. She knew the blind spots created by their body structure. She used all of it. When Rask swung, she wasn't there. She ducked under his arms, rolled behind him, struck the soft tissue at the back of his knee. He roared and spun, but she was already moving. The crowd fell silent. This wasn't the quick kill they expected. Rask attacked again, and again. Each time, Anna avoided the blow by inches and found a way to hurt him. A strike to the armpit, a kick to the ankle joint, an elbow to the gap between his shoulder plates. She was bleeding. His claws caught her several times, across the arm, the leg, the side. Human blood dripped onto the black stone. But she didn't fall. "Why won't you die?" Rask snarled. Anna circled, breathing hard. "Because I'm human, and humans don't quit." He charged again, rage making him sloppy. His movements were wild now, desperate. He had never fought something that refused to stop. Anna saw her opening. When Rask lunged with his upper right arms, there was a gap in his armor, right at the throat. A small gap, barely visible, but there. She could end it. One strike to the throat would kill him. She chose differently. Instead of the killing blow, she ducked under his arms and locked one of his elbows. She used her whole body weight to hyperextend the joint. Bones cracked, Rask screamed. She swept his legs and brought him crashing down. Before he could recover, she had his arm locked again, bending it at an angle that promised permanent damage if she pushed harder. "Yield," she said. The arena was completely silent. Every creature watched, unable to believe what they were seeing. Rask struggled. She applied more pressure. He screamed again. "I yield," he gasped. Anna released him and stepped back. She stood there, covered in her own blood, swaying slightly from exhaustion. But she stood. The crowd erupted, not in mockery or anger, but in something she had never expected to hear at Harrowfield. Cheering, Commandant Goruk's voice boomed across the arena. The challenge is concluded. Anna Webb is victorious. Rask is expelled from this academy. Guards came to escort Rask away. He didn't look at her as he was led out. His surviving squadmates said nothing. 3 weeks later, Anna stood in a different arena. This one was decorated with banners. Music played. The entire academy had gathered, but this time the mood was celebration. Graduation. Barracks 12 stood together at the front. Rena floating without struggle now, her body adapted to the gravity. Ul and On, their cold suits improved and functional. Kess standing visible and proud. Doug wearing a uniform that actually fit him for once. And Anna still small, still soft, still human. Commandant Goruk called their names one by one. Each received their military classification and assignment. When Anna's turn came, Goruk paused. "Anna Webb," he said, "you were assigned here by mistake, a clerical error. You should have been studying flowers on a garden planet. Instead, you survived Harrowfield." He looked down at her. "And by doing so, you have changed history." He pressed something into her hand, a small medallion. "Humanity is hereby approved for Galactic Coalition military service. Full rights, full privileges, full recognition as an apex species." The arena thundered with applause. After the ceremony, Anna found drill instructor Voss waiting for her. "You did something unprecedented," Voss said. "You could have killed Rask, you chose not to." "That's the human way," Anna replied. "We don't have to destroy our enemies. Sometimes it's enough to show them they're wrong." Voss extended something toward her. A small crystal on a chain, a Sindari token of respect. "I have never given one of these to an outsider," Voss said. "You earned it." Anna bowed her head and accepted the gift. As she walked away from the academy, a coalition observer intercepted her. The creature was tall and thin, covered in robes that hid its species. "Anna Webb, I've been watching you since the beginning. I have one question." "Ask." "How did you survive? This academy was designed to kill creatures far stronger than you." Anna thought about the question. She thought about the paperwork error that started everything. The barracks they called the graveyard, the crucible, the magma drake, Rask's challenge. She thought about her squad, her family, the creatures who had become her friends. "I didn't try to become what Harrowfield expected," she finally said. "I just stayed human, and it turns out that was enough." She walked out into the volcanic sunrise. The deadliest academy in the galaxy was behind her. And she had never felt more alive.